Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Eye on the Community, and I'm your host, Sean Anthony. Joining me next is the Executive Director of the Peer Center, Miss Juliet Dorris-Williams. Welcome to Eye on the Community. How are you?
I am well. Hello, and thanks for having me.
Pleasure is all mine. Let's talk about the Peer Center. What is it? What does it do? Give us a brief overview of the Peer Center.
Sure. The Peer Center is a nonprofit peer recovery organization that is operated and managed by peers, which are people with personal lived experience of mental health, addiction, and trauma. So all of us at the Peer Center, that's the most important claim to fame, are people in long-term recovery, long-term and extended recovery, mental health, addiction, trauma. We are um, also our community. So we exist to serve our community, and our community being those persons, those individuals who also live with mental health, addiction, and trauma. We are here to provide a safe space, a safe place for people to recover. So we're a drop-in center, so people literally just walk in, they can self-refer to come in and speak with one-on-one or to another person that is walking the walk, or they can participate in any of our other activities that are going on every day. In our support groups, we have a number of support groups that happen every day. And we exist here in Columbus on the east side of community, in the Whitehall community, and also in the west side of community in the Franklinton area. And so every day we are here providing a safe place to recover for our community, people who are whether they're on day one or day 5,000. We are here to help people discover, learn about recovery, hopefully begin their journey and or to maintain that journey. We also, in addition to our two in-person locations, we also operate a daily warm line, and that's primarily to reduce loneliness and reduce isolation, and to also give people an opportunity to talk with other people who are on the journey of recovery, so they can access us in person, or they can access us with us on the phone 10 hours a day. Both of our locations, our in-person locations, are open 12 hours daily. We're also open every holiday. So we're here.
Excellent. So how does peer support differ from other forms of support from someone that may be dealing with depression?
That's a great question. And I'm a social worker, so I believe in all forms of support. So with respect to peer support, it's exactly what I said previously. It's people with the same lived experience supporting other people with the same lived experience. So it's not about patient client. It's not about any of those, what I consider power laden words. It's a power neutral, low level engagement. We like to say that you come into one of our centers and you get a little support or a lot of support. And it is absolutely up to you. It is person driven. People recover how they recover, and we do not diagnose. So we don't start from that level of pathology. We start with hope. We are actually the walking and talking poster children for hope, because we've been there. We've been where they are. with respect to the Peer Center, there's not a lived experience aside from the mental health or addiction or the trauma that someone on staff has not experienced. So someone on our team has experienced homelessness in addition to mental health, addiction, or trauma. Someone on our staff has been incarcerated in addition to these other challenges that we live with. And so we literally have walked the walk and have come out on the other side. We have our, what we call our war stories of how we got over, as they say in community, or how we got to the place of recovery and how we maintain. Now, that is not to say that we don't approach it from, naming the name, as it were. So if the addiction is substance use disorder, or the addiction is gambling, or the addiction is food or sex, or, fill in the blank in terms of addiction. It's why we say addiction, because we want to approach it from a more global standpoint, that it's not just substance use. It could be substance use and something else, but it's not just that. But in terms of mental health, in addition to what I call the big three, depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, there's these other concerns, anxiety, just all sorts of human conditions and situations that people have landed in, and from which they need some support to move to the next step, whatever that next step is, and they define that next step. So, and we are here in terms of peer support, is to share our experiences, to identify with the person's experience, that the person who's right in front of us, and we talk a lot about the mutuality of our experiences, and so we are able to connect in ways that psychologists, social workers, psychiatrists, and other folks in the other mental health support arena, we are able to connect with people. What I say is on the ground, right there with them. And when we say, I understand, we absolutely do
Truly
understand, because we've been there, we've done that, we've walked it. Like I said, we're still walking it, because recovery is not a one and done. Mm-hmm. Recovery. I say recovery is forever. You still have to.
It's a daily battle.
Yes, and it's not hard every day. It's not like out here slaying dragons every day. But there is an opportunity to choose health every day. There are absolutely things that we need to do to stay well. For some of us, it's make sure we take our meds every day. For some of us, it's attend to those tools, or pull out the tools. Even we have our little bag of recovery tools. It's up to us every day to choose those tools, to activate those tools. Sometimes that means maybe you need to go to a meeting, maybe you need to go to therapy, maybe you need to choose not to do something, or choose not to go somewhere, or choose not to hang with, those folks. So it's an active, everyday choosing life.
Now, with that
life and choosing wellness.
With that being said, what would you say some of the unique benefits of having a peer who's gone through some of those similar experiences with depression?
Oh my gosh. Well, who doesn't need a friend, right? Who doesn't need a friend who is not saying something, and I hate to sound judgmental, is not saying something stupid like, what have you got to be sad about? So it's all of these what I think are nonsensical things to say to people, particularly people who are living with depression, going through it. We have so many real life examples of, and mostly these are like famous people who have died by suicide, and they live in life, and from our angle, living life, living large, doing all the things, at the pinnacle of their success. At least that's what it looks like to us. And then we find out about their private battles, and we find out that for reasons. And as a person who lives with depression myself, I absolutely understand the concept of just being tired of fighting, tired of the battle, tired of trudging through the mud. I had a friend describe it recently as trudging, walking through mud uphill in a dark tunnel. And you're going through life, you're going through the motions, you're doing all the things that you're supposed to do. And that's the thing, is that you don't even know. Because there are some of us that present really well. We're doing all the things, we're showing up for things, we're going through the motions of what life brings us. We are supposedly dealing with life, but privately we are struggling. We're not sleeping, we're not eating. Everything is hard. Life is hard. And this is why, well, for me, I have learned just from my own personal struggle, and just and because I think I'm in tune to it, because that's my own personal struggle. I've learned to ask different questions.
Ask different questions. That's interesting. Let's talk about the education component to this.
Sure.
Why is depression education important? And also, briefly, tell us, what impact does it have on the community?
I think, well, depression education is important. To home in on that one point, is that there's a lot of there's not a lot of education. I think there needs to be more education. I think in the wake of COVID, we're doing a better job of speaking wellness. So a couple of things that I just mentioned, the different questions, learning about the importance of sleep, learning about the importance of nutrition, and how just those two things third thing, pain. When people live with chronic pain, or people are recovering from some accident or some surgery or something, we are, I think, just now starting to have what are those real feeders into the mental and emotional state of human beings when they're potentially suffering silently, but we need to make it safe for them not to be silent about what they're feeling, about what they're experiencing. I remember there's not enough education, particularly around how depression manifests, or what it looks like for men. And we don't think about when men are displaying aggressive behaviors or anger, those kinds of things. We think, okay, they're acting out, when in fact, maybe they're experiencing depression, and this is what it looks like. Maybe for people who have had traumatic brain injury, for example, maybe they are displaying some behaviors that socially may not be acceptable, but maybe this is the only way they know how to express that they're in pain, or that they're not okay in their body right now, and they just don't have the language, don't have the words, don't know how to articulate what is going on with them. So I think as a community, we make a lot of assumptions about and we don't really get to the point of really asking people questions. Not like, I don't know, if I'm getting real passionate about an issue, which I'm passionate about this, I can be real animated about it. And so not asking if the person has taken their meds, but asking, are they okay?
Mm.
How are you doing really? How are you sleeping? When's the last time you had a meal? How are you for real?
You're kind of answering my next question. That's
oh dear, you'll have to stop me because I'll ramble.
No, because I was going to ask you, what are some effective ways to start a conversation with someone who may be experiencing some depression? And those were some great lead-in questions. Just asking someone, "How are you doing?" or
"How are you really?"
Yeah.
And don't settle for "I'm fine," because this is what we do. This is what we do.
But
And
you're saying probe a little deeper.
Oh yeah, go a little deeper. And
are you sure? Are you sure you're okay?
And yeah, because I have had real life experience years ago. When I was in school, I had a professor who was my counselor person at the time, my advisor, and she's like, "How you doing?" And I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine. And then we talk a little bit more, and then she'd say, "How you doing?" And I was like, "I'm fine." And then we talk a little bit more. And then she asked the third time. And I'm like, "Okay.
How you really doing?"
How you really doing? Yeah. And so I have, even now, I stole this from someone. People ask me how I'm doing. And I say, I'm some level of okay. So some level of okay. And how much time you got? So, but just don't let it pass. If people are I think almost always people are they're showing you that stuff's going on with them. Now, whether they want to talk about it or not, that's, completely up to them. But we as human beings need to know that people are not just going through the motions with us, that they're being real. Right. And if you ask me more than once if I'm okay, that means it set me, it's like, okay, all right. So I gotta give a different answer that I'm fine, because apparently this isn't working. Right. My stock answer isn't working today. And so we have to, if we are genuinely coming from a caring place, and if we really want to know, then take a minute, take a beat, and don't just let "I'm fine" go by without asking some different questions.
Now, last question before we conclude. How can someone, can anybody just come in off the street? Like, is there a phone number that people can call?
Absolutely.
Website or
website. Absolutely. So to your first question, people can absolutely walk in off the street because we're a drop-in center. Walk in, And the first thing you're going to be greeted with is, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Juliet. And do you want a tour? Do you want a cup of coffee?" We just kind of show people around and help people get comfortable, but they can literally drop in. They don't need to be referred by anyone. They can be referred, but not necessary. Just walk in. And we're a nonprofit, so all of our support services are free of charge. So they can walk in at either of our centers. They can call us at 614-453-4830. That's our east side location, 4830. Our west side location, if they're closer to West Broad, the number is 614-453-4840. And our website is really simple, thepeercenter.org.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your time and sharing this valuable information. I'm sure someone out there listening to this broadcast can benefit from it. Miss Juliet Dorris-Williams, the Executive Director for the Peer Center. We appreciate you sharing this on Eye on the Community. You take care.
You take care. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.